I'm Bart Ehrman, and I'm happy to announce a new online course titled The Bible and the Quran, Comparing Their Historical Problems. The course will take place over 2 days and will consist of 8 lectures. It'll happen on Saturday, May 4th, and Sunday, May 5th. This is going to be an unusually exciting, interesting, and informative course. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. I'll be speaking about the historical problems that scholars have had in studying the Christian Bible, and a scholar of Islam, Javad Hashmi, will be addressing the same problems with respect to the Quran. Javad is an unusual scholar. He engages in historical criticism on the Muslim scriptures much as I do on the Christian Bible. Javad's currently finishing his PhD in Islamic studies at Harvard, where he specializes in Quranic studies, Islamic origins, the historical Muhammad, and the question of religion and violence, especially in relation to the Quran. For this course, we've chosen 4 critical areas of historical concern, and we'll discuss each of these areas in relationship to the Bible and the Quran. These are the 4 areas. First, getting back to the originals, knowing what the authors actually wrote. Can we know the original words of the New Testament? Can we know the original words of the Quran? 2, the reliability of the accounts, the problem of contradictions and errors. How much history and how much story is in the New Testament and in the Quran? Number 3, the quests for the historical Jesus and the historical Muhammad. How do we know what Jesus really said and did? How do we know what Muhammad really said and did? And 4, Scripture and violence. A history of hatred, intolerance, and violence. Is the Bible to blame? Is the Quran to blame? Javad and I will be taking turns giving our lectures. I'll discuss the topic with respect to the New Testament, then Javad on the Quran, and then we'll discuss the similarities and the differences we find. So there'll be 4 lectures a day, and each day will be followed by a live Q&A with those who attend. I've done a lot of controversial things before, but I'm not sure I've done one that's this important. And now I'd like to introduce Javad himself, so he can tell you what he's going to be talking about.
Thank you so much, Bart. I'm super excited to be teaching this course with you. I think it's going to be something really quite special. It might be the first publicly available academic course that takes a comparative approach to Islamic origins. So if you're interested in that topic, this is the course for you. My part is going to consist of 4 lectures. In the first lecture, we'll be taking a look at the transmission history of the Quranic text, basically to ask ourselves, do we have with us today the original Quranic text? And does it really go back to the Prophet Muhammad? In lecture number 2, we'll be looking at the content of the Quranic text, looking at certain influences or texts that the Quran interacts with and scholars think influence the Quranic stories and accounts. We'll also be asking ourselves whether we should take these stories and accounts to be historically and scientifically accurate, or do we think that there are certain mythical or legendary aspects to them, just as many biblical scholars think in regards to biblical stories. In lecture 3, we'll be shifting to the quest for the historical Muhammad, just like there's a quest for the historical Jesus. Did the Prophet Muhammad even exist? And if he did exist, what can we know about him? Can we trust the traditional Islamic sources? And what does the Quran, or what can the Quran tell us about the historical Muhammad? In lecture number 4, we'll shift to the question of scripture and violence. Many people think Islam is inherently violent and link that all back to the Quran. So we'll be exploring that question in our final lecture. We'll round all this off with a discussion between Bart and I about whether or not we think faithful Christians and faithful Muslims can engage with their text in an academically rigorous manner and an academically honest manner. So that'll be a good discussion that we'll have. I'm super excited about this course. Like I said, it might even get banned in certain countries. We might get a fatwa on our head. So make sure you sign up because this is going to be an interesting course. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Javad. This is going to be a great course. I don't think it's ever been done before. It'll be interesting, not just to Christians and Muslims, but to anyone in our world that deals with either of the two largest religious traditions in the history of the human race. Pretty important stuff. Again, this will be on May 4th and 5th. In terms of pricing, the regular price for the course will be $59.95, but we have an early bird pricing of $49.95. And if you buy the course, if you come to it, you'll be given lifetime access to the recording. To learn more and to register for the course, simply go to bartehrman.com/Bible and Quran. Again, this will be an amazing course, and I hope you'll be able to come.